Welcome to Midnight Brainspace. Tonight's story is called The Notification from Tomorrow. Get comfortable, and don't forget to check who your last message is from. I live alone, but my phone disagrees. It thinks there are two of me. The first time it happened, I was half asleep on the couch, rain tapping casually against the windows. The room was dark except for the soft blue glow of the TV menu. The kind you leave on when you don't really want to commit to watching anything. My phone buzzed on the coffee table. I ignored it at first. It was late, and everyone who knows me knows I don't answer after midnight unless something's on fire. It buzzed again. I sighed, leaned forward, and picked it up. A notification from an app I barely use anymore, an old messaging app I kept only because a couple of friends refused to move to anything newer. But the name on the notification was wrong. It said, "New message from you tomorrow." I stared at it. At first, I figured it was a glitch. Some weird sync issue. Maybe my account name in another language. Or a bug from an update. The kind you shrug at and clear. Except the preview message under the name was worse. It read, "Don't open the door." I frowned and tapped it. The app opened onto a chat thread with no profile picture. Just a grey silhouette and the name, "You tomorrow." At the top, under the contact name, it said, "Last seen tomorrow, to 14 a.m. My phone's clock in the corner said, "To 10 a.m. My thumb hovered over the screen. I looked toward my front door. It was closed. Locked, chain on, just like always. I went back to the chat. There was a single message in the thread, sent at 2:09 a.m. "Don't open the door." I snorted quietly, more out of discomfort than amusement. "Okay," I muttered. Which one of my friends thinks they're a comedian? I tapped the contact info. No number, just ID. Self_tomorrow_1 and a blank email. No mutual contacts, no linked accounts. Just there. The three dots popped up at the bottom of the chat. Typing. I froze. Another message appeared. "Stop staring at the door. Just listen to me. In about 1 minute, someone will knock." My mouth went dry. I checked the time. 2:11 a.m. My heart started to thud. Just a little too heavy for comfort. I tried to think logically. Maybe it's a prank. Maybe someone hacked my account. Changed a contact name to creep me out. Maybe I'm just too tired and my brain's making this weirder than it is. I started to type. "Who is this?" Before I could send it, another message popped up, cutting me off. "It's you, just not yet." I stared at the words. The sound of rain filled the silence in the room. Suddenly too loud, too present. The house creaked in the way all houses do at night. But my mind latched onto every noise like a drowning hand. Another message. "I don't have time to convince you. Whatever happens, do not open the door at 2:12. The clock in the corner flicked from 2:11 to 2:12. I hadn't even processed the change before it happened. 3 loud, precise knocks at the front door. Not frantic, not casual, just deliberate. My body reacted before my brain did. I shot up from the couch, my heart hammering in my chest, phone clenched in my hand. I stared at the door, every horror movie I'd ever seen compiling into a single, unhelpful slideshow in my mind. The knocks came again. "Who is it?" I called out, trying and failing to keep my voice steady. No answer. Just rain. I swallowed, my throat dry. My phone buzzed in my hand. Another message. "Don't ask who it is. Don't respond. Just wait." I glanced between the door and the message. Third round of knocks. Part of me started to get angry. This had to be a prank. Someone outside. Someone inside the app. A coordinated attempt to freak me out. But who would go this far? And how did they sync the messages and the knocks so perfectly? I decided to test it. I typed quickly, fingers shaking more than I wanted to admit. "If you're really me from tomorrow, what's something only I would know?" A response came almost instantly. "The second drawer of your nightstand, under the headphones you never use, is where you keep the letter you never mailed. I felt my lungs seize. The letter. There was no reason anyone should know about it. I'd written it years ago on a bad night, stuffed it under old headphones, and never touched it again. The knocking stopped. Silence pressed against the house. The kind that feels heavier than noise. I swallowed and typed another message. If I don't open the door, what happens? A pause. Then, you live. My legs threatened to give way. I stood there for a full minute, eyes locked on the door. Every muscle tense. Nothing happened. No more knocks. No footsteps. No voices. The clock ticked to 2:14 a.m. The status at the top of the chat changed. Last seen. Today. 2:14 a.m. Not tomorrow. Today. My skin prickled. What do you mean you live? I typed quickly. No response. The online status flickered off. Whoever or whatever had been on the other end was gone. I waited another 5 minutes. Nothing. Finally, I walked slowly to the door. I pressed my eye to the peephole. No one there. I checked the bolt. Still locked. The chain still hanging. I exhaled, trying to steady my shaking hands. Okay, I whispered. Okay. It's fine. Just some weird coincidence. A bug. A hack. A something. I triple-checked the lock, then went back to the couch. I forced myself to put the phone down, stared at the TV menu, and watched the little preview clips bounce around on the screen. For a while, nothing happened. The rain softened. My heartbeat eventually found a slower rhythm. At some point, I dozed off. I woke up stiff, neck aching from the couch's terrible angle. Morning light crept weakly through the curtains, trying and failing to be motivational. I checked my phone. No new messages. I opened the app. The chat with you tomorrow was still there. But now the contact name just said you. The tomorrow part was gone. My stomach twisted uneasily. I scrolled up through the messages. They were exactly as I remembered, timestamps untouched. Last seen. 2:14 a.m. I decided to prove to myself that it was all a dream, or stress, or something mundane. I went to my bedroom, pulled open the second drawer of my nightstand. There, under a pair of old headphones I'd honestly forgotten about, was the folded, yellowed letter. My letter. The one I never mailed. I didn't read it. I didn't need to. I already knew what it said. I stood there for a long time, the taste of last night's. Fear faint but still bitter in the back of my throat. When I went back to the living room, I checked the front door again. Nothing, no marks. No footprints on the mat. No sign anyone had come by at all. I told myself, out loud, it was just a coincidence. The words didn't help. That night, I slept in my bedroom instead of on the couch. I locked the front door. I checked the windows twice. I put my phone on the nightstand, screen facing down, and left some ambient rain sounds playing quietly from a speaker to drown out the house noises. I fell asleep eventually. I don't know what time it was when the phone buzzed. I rolled over, groggy, annoyed. My eyes narrowed against the bright screen as I flipped it over. New message from you tomorrow. My heart dropped straight into my stomach. I unlocked the phone with a shaking thumb and opened the app. The contact name once again read, you tomorrow. And this time, instead of one neat message, the chat was full of them. 20, maybe 30, all in a row. Sent one after another at 2:13 a.m. All saying the same thing. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. I sat up too fast, the room spinning for a moment. It was dark, but not the soft, cozy kind. The kind where edges blur and shadows feel a little too solid. I squinted at the clock. 2:13 a.m. My phone buzzed again in my hand. Another message. This time, don't look out the window. I hadn't intended to, until, of course, I read that. Slowly, almost against my will, I turned my head. There's a small window in my bedroom, facing the quiet street outside. The curtains were parted just enough to show a piece of the world beyond street lamp glow, slick pavement, the silhouette of trees. I didn't see anything unusual. No figures in the yard. No cars idling. Just the empty street, shining with fresh rain. I exhaled shakily. Another message appeared. Not that window. A cold wave rolled through my chest. My apartment only has 2 windows. The bedroom one I was looking at, and the long, narrow one in the hallway, next to the front door. My phone buzzed again. Stay in bed. Don't move. He can't see you if you stay in bed. The phrase was so absurd, so childish. It momentarily snapped me out of it. "Who?" I whispered. Another message. "You'll hear it in a second." The house went impossibly quiet. Even the rain seemed to pause, holding its breath with me. That's when I heard it. Not a knock. A slow, dragging sound in the hallway outside my bedroom door. Like something heavy being pulled across the floor. I froze, every muscle screaming at me to move and stay still at the same time. The sound scraped closer, paused, then scraped again. My phone buzzed. "Don't get up, don't speak." The sound reached my bedroom door and stopped. I could see the thin strip of light from the hallway at the bottom of the door. For a second, nothing happened. Then a shadow passed over the gap. Not like footsteps, like something tall and uneven shifting. My chest burned from holding my breath. Another message came through. "He's checking the windows," as if on cue. The dragging sound resumed, heading toward the front of the apartment. I heard a faint rattling, like fingers tapping glass. The hallway window. I pictured it in my mind, the tall, narrow pane beside the front door. The one I always thought looked decorative and pointless. Something brushed against it. Not a knock. More like a slow, curious scrape. My phone buzzed again. "He's not supposed to be here yet. The word hung in my mind like a hook. What is he? I typed with numb fingers. This time, the reply took longer. The dragging stopped. The silence felt thick enough to choke on. Finally, a message appeared. "I don't know. We only started seeing him after you opened the door." My stomach twisted painfully. "Open the door when?" I typed back. Another buzz. The first time. The version of you that didn't listen. I stared at the text, mind spinning. Another scrape against the hallway window made me flinch. I'm trying to fix it, to change it. Every time I send messages back, it gets worse. The dragging resumed, moving slowly past my bedroom again. The shadow crossed under the door one more time. I clamped a hand over my mouth, pressing my back into the wall behind my bed, as though I could somehow merge with it. The sound moved away. Faded. The front door rattled softly, like someone lightly trying the handle, then let go. The clock flipped to 2:14 a.m. Silence. My phone buzzed one last time. He always leaves at 2:14. "Tonight, you didn't open the door. That's good." I swallowed, forcing myself to breathe slowly. "Is it over?" I typed. 3 dots appeared. Typing stopped started again. Stopped. Finally, one more message came through. "For you, maybe. For me, it just started." The contact status flickered. "Last seen. Tomorrow, 2:15 a.m. And then the check closed itself. I blinked, confused. I opened the app again. The conversation with you, tomorrow, was gone. No chat history. No contact name. No self_tomorrow_1 ID. Like it had never existed. I sat there in bed, phone in hand, staring at a blank contact list, listening to the rain slowly come outside. After a long time, I got up. I checked the hallway. The window by the front door was fogged up more than usual, as if someone had stood too close to it for too long. At the bottom of the glass, near the edge, a faint smear cut through the condensation. 5 parallel lines, like the mark of someone's hands, slowly sliding down the glass. Or something with too many fingers. I stood there, heart pounding, for what felt like hours. Eventually, I wiped the window clean. No marks, no scratches, no proof. Just me, my reflection, and the quiet hallway. I went back to bed, but I didn't sleep. I left my phone face down on the nightstand. I tell myself I'm not waiting for it to buzz again. I tell myself it's over. But every night, as the clock inches towards 12 a.m., I find myself watching it and wondering which version of me is sending messages right now from a tomorrow where things went wrong, and whether, in their chat window, my name still shows up as you tomorrow. If you enjoyed this story from Midnight Brainspace, you can leave it playing as background while you fall asleep. And if your phone ever tells you there's a new message from yourself, maybe don't open the door. Part 2 will be coming soon. If you enjoyed this story, like, comment, and subscribe for more midnight stories and eerie notifications.